What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the PS5 career mode. This is episode number 67. And we start today's episode off by seeing that James has torn his ACL and is done for the season. Yes, a 7-month injury for our first choice right back. Of course, he got the injury in the last game, in the last episode, that thrilling 3-3 draw against Manchester United, and Bruno Fernandes really is embracing that villain role in this save. Of course, he took down our right back, and as play continued, James was on the floor screaming in agony, but the Portuguese playmaker just said, forget his feelings, I'm banging this in. And yeah, as Manchester United scored from that moment there, it was a 3-3 draw that again, and nicked a point right towards the end of the game. James now done for the season, absolutely massive blow there. He's been great since coming in for Crystal Palace. I wouldn't say he's been quite as good as Max Aarons, who of course we sold to Borussia Dortmund, and he's not grown a rating since coming in from Crystal Palace as well, but he's still been solid, very consistent indeed, and that's a big blow there. James done for the season, and he's out for the rest of the campaign with the ACL. So for our first game of today's episode away in Salzburg, taking on RB Salzburg in matchday 3 in the Champions League away from home. Heading into this game on the back of the 3-3 thriller against Manchester United, looking to get back to winning ways here in matchday 3 in the Champions League, and this is really cool as well. First off, Jonathan David was sort of showcasing his worth to the team, perhaps mocking the press, saying that he's carrying this team, and then Charles Ball does the exact same celebration second half as well. Our two star players making a point there. They are the star players and carrying this team at times. Leading by 2, Salzburg will grab a goal right towards the end of the game, but unlike in the Manchester United match, we were never in any danger of throwing the points away in this one. Very comprehensive and comfortable victory, 2 on the final score, and that means 3 games into the Champions League group stage, we are officially at the halfway point, and as you can see by the table, we are top, undefeated, with 7 points on the board, 3 points clear of Juve, 4 clear of KRC Genk, and 6 clear of the team we just beat there, RB Salzburg, still winless. Very frustrating as well how we not thrown away that win against KRC Genk in the group opener. Then we would have had 9 points, being 5 points clear, and I believe if we will win match day 4, then we would have guaranteed qualification with 2 games to spare. Instead, that's how it is, because we failed to win that one, 2 wins in 3, we are still top, but it's still not a formality. We'll be progressing to the knockout stages, so I do feel very comfortable indeed. Still, for the second game of today's episode, returning back to England and matters in the Premier League, staying away from home. Newcastle United St James Park, as we know, they've been great in this save. They qualified for the Europa League for this season and just missed out on the top 4 last year, but in a very, very tough first half. Ball scored the first goal, very lucky bounce as well, deflecting straight back to the ball, and then in the second half, 20 minutes after the restart, Omar goes up for an aerial duel, and our left back hits the deck. So we just lost Rhys James, our right back, to a 7-month injury, and now the stretcher is being called for the former Royal and Hoffenheim left back as well. So we're just forced off on the stretcher. We'd hold on to the 3 points, 1-0 the final score. Once again, a defensive shutout, really, to ensure we would get the 3 points in this one, but it's still quite a tough game regardless to leave with the victory. But another injury picked up. We've seen James is out for the season, and now Omar is done for 2 months with a dislocated shoulder as well, so we won't see him again until around Christmas Day. So yeah, we're now missing both our first choice fullbacks, James for the season, Richards for a couple of months, and of course, as we know, this period, November and December, features a hell of a lot of fixtures. We're also missing Noni Majuk as well for a couple of months too. So we're missing 3 of our starting 11s to start the campaign off. Bit of an injury, not necessarily crisis, but difficult situation to be in regardless here. 3 of our starting 11 down with serious injuries. James done for the season, of course. That's a tough start for us this campaign, I must admit, on that front. But again, I've mentioned it many times before, I kind of like it. I really hope that in future versions of FIFA, EA actually have injuries occurring naturally without you needing to adjust the sliders. If I hadn't adjusted the sliders, this sort of thing would never happen, but injuries are part of football, so it's kind of cool to see happening. Every now and then you'd have a bit of an injury patch, tough injury patch in real life, so why not in the game as well. So yeah, for our third of 7 in today's episode, Manchester United away from home in the Carabao Cup here. Of course, we drew with them in the league a couple of weeks ago. This game, of course, so I did pick the veterans and the kids for this one. I had absolutely no interest in getting through whatsoever. If we did, we did. If we didn't, we didn't. And to be fair as well, if you see the stats here, I actually played pretty decent. I actually played alright. Ben Foster, the cycling GK, back at his old stomping ground, made an amazing save in the second half as well. Perez, Messi's Regen, scored his first goal for the club as well. That was really cool to see. But it was a defeat though. We are knocked out, and our progress in the EFL Cup ends in round 3. It ends in the 3rd round, but I'm totally fine with that. The EFL Cup will never be important to me. But as we close out October, you will see in the league table there, we are currently sitting in 2nd place. Manchester City leading the way right now through the first 10 games. Long way to go, of course. And, you know, we know how tight it was last season. We won the title by a point on the final day. I gotta be honest here, the board have asked us to win the title again this season and to retain it in our first ever title defence. We've certainly got the squad, we've certainly got the players, but it is going to be difficult to do that. I think that even though I probably will put us as favourites because I'm biased, I think it's going to be another season where it comes down to the wire and it comes down to the final day. Liverpool had a pretty tough start to this season, but I know they're going to get back into it, and they've already risen to 7th place here after a very tough start. I know they'll get back into the race not before long, and Manchester United this season look pretty decent as well. So yeah, this is going to be yet another title race this campaign. We just got to make sure we stay in the fight for as long as possible, and hopefully the whole way. But still for the fourth game 7 today's episode, Southampton at home here, back to matters in the Premier League. Early on into the game, on the back of the defeat, Charles Bull makes it 1-0 and fires us in front. Then 17 minutes later, Abrechi Eze gets a goal. I love it when these two score in the same game. It feels really cool because look, every star player needs a sidekick. Every Batman needs a Robin. Eze is the Robin to Charles' Batman. He makes it 2-0. We double our lead in 41 minutes in as well. Joe Gomez, what a brilliant last-ditch tackle here. You know, I don't often include defensive highlights in my games just because there's so many games to get through in an episode, and I don't want to drag the gameplay and the games on for too long. But Joe Gomez, since coming in from Dortmund, He's been every bit worth of the £95 million we spent on him from Borussia Dortmund. He's been absolutely fantastic. A brick wall at the back. And with 2 minutes to go, still leading by 2. Messi's Regen, Perez, scores his second goal in 2 games in a 3-0 victory as we get back on track here. And this is why I rested all my players in midweek in the EFL Cup, because the Premier League games, of course, far more important. So 3-0 the final scores. We keep pace with Manchester City, and for matchday 4 in the Champions League here, RB Salzburg in game 5 of today's episode, looking to record the double against the Austrians, so far winless in the group, feeling very confident indeed. Right now sat in 4th place, just a 1 point picks up so far. Well, talk about deja vu. 45 minutes into the game, Chris Methven takes a tumble, stays down and is injured, and just like against the Red Devils a few weeks ago, play continues. RB Salzburg play on, don't kick the ball out for sportsmanship. They're well within their rights to do that, but then I thought the celebration was a little bit over the top. I mean, come on guys, seriously, you've just taken a shot bleed, that's bad enough. You've injured one of my players in the process as well, that's also really frustrating, and then you mock me as well, turning the camera on our home fans and celebrating in front of them. Come on man, that is just pure cruelty and villainous there. So 1-0 RB Salzburg. To be fair to the Austrians as well, I came into this game, picked a weakened line. They have some starters at it for the most part, a lot of fringe players getting chances. I thought this would be an absolute walkover. My goodness gracious me. Winless in the group, I've got no idea how. I really struggled in this game. We were 2-0 down with 10 minutes to go, and whilst the Bull would grab a goal to give us a chance in the final few stages, unfortunately, the Austrians would hold on to what was an absolutely shocking victory. 2 on the final score. You know, 1 point from a possible 9 picked up by the Austrians heading to the game. Coming to the Kyle Prince Foundation Stadium, we were the only team yet to lose a game in the first 3. And yet we lose there in matchday 4 to what were the worst team at the group at the time. But not now. They've now jumped up to 3rd place in the group with 2 games to spare. The group has been blown wide open now, and it looks a lot more interesting. Us and Juventus in the top 2, both with 7 points each. But now Salzburg in 3rd, only 3 points behind both of us. And KRC Genk, whilst they haven't got a win yet, they've drawn 3 of the 4 games and therefore have 3 points on the board as well. So with 2 games to go, whilst us and Juventus still occupy the top 2 positions, there's still a chance for the Austrians and the Belgians, who still haven't had a win yet, to end up qualifying in either 1st or 2nd. I love it. The group's been blown completely wide open, and with 2 games to spare, it's anyone's guess as to who's going through right now. But still, for the following game of today's episode, returning back to matters in the Premier League, going away from home to North London to take on the Gunners here. Early on into the game, looking to bounce back. Whenever I have a defeat, I always have extra motivation to bounce back and win the following one. And early on into the game, Charles Bull scores an absolutely sensational goal. You know, he is like the reverse Iron Robin. Robin's play style, everyone knew. You know, when he gets the ball down the right hand side, every single defender knows exactly what he's going to do every single time. Step in field, cut in on the left, buy a little bit of space and bend one in. That's exactly what Bull is like, just on the opposite side, doing it on the left and cutting in and shooting on the right. He made it 1-0. Second half, Jonathan David scores a lovely little chip goal to make it 2-0, and we do bounce back on the back of the shock defeat there with a 2-0 win at the Emirates Stadium. So buzzing with that, and once again it's our 2 star players. We're not a one-man team obviously, because Charles Bull has some great supporting players, but it is pretty too. Like if Bull and David, both of them aren't playing well, then we probably won't win the game. We need at least one of them to be having a really good game if we are to get the 3 points in whatever match we're playing. They both played well there though, both scored 2-0 at the final score, and a very important victory as we bounce back from the loss to Salzburg. So for the following game of today's episode here, it is in the Leicester City right now, sat in the relegation zone. As we know, throughout the course of this save, they've struggled mightily in the bottom 3 right now, and with 5 minutes to go, this dude is just on absolute flames. Messi's Regen just can't stop turning up. I gave the Argentine a start once again. I'm really impressed by this kid. He's only 17 years old. He's got such raw pace and a great end product as well. And he scored both goals in the game in a 2-0 victory. Messi's Regen is on fire, and I'm absolutely loving it. He's now scored, I think, 3 goals for the club and bagged an assist as well. And at the moment, I've got to be honest here, you know, it's hard at times to break up our normal first 11 because they're all just that good, and none of them should be getting dropped really unless they're in horrendous form. So unless an injury actually occurs, it's hard to actually get the fringe players that many minutes. But I've got to find a way to get Perez in this starting 11 on a more regular basis. And you might have noticed as well, Noni is returning from his injury. We saw the email for the Arsenal game, but to be honest, based on the form that Maduka's had for us since we signed him really, and how good Perez has started the season off in his first year in the Premier League, I've got to say, whilst he's like, you know, 11 ratings lower than Noni Maduka, I'm still preferring the 17-year-old. The wonder kid right now is looking absolutely unbelievable. For the penultimate game of today's episode, KRC Genk here in the penultimate game of the group stage here, matchday 5 in the Champions League. The Belgians are still without a win, as we know. If they were to qualify, they had to win this game and stun us like Salzburg did in match day 4. But heading into the game, I was not going to allow deja vu to happen. I was going to make sure I made amends in this one. We won the game by 3-0. The Bull putting on a really, 4-0. I'll spoil it for you. 4-0. The Bull putting on a great display in this game. He was superb, and Kelman bagged 2 goals coming off the bench as well. And you know, whilst David's had a great start to the season and looking on course right now to win the Golden Boot on current pace, Charlie Kelman, I will always have a place for this guy in my team. He's an amazing impact sub. I think he is better coming off the bench as well and running at tired legs. But yeah, whilst David is incredible, up to 89 overall now, and just a fantastic striker all round, Kelman will always have a place in my team. I love the American so much, man. He is sublime. So that also confirms it as well. We are indeed through with a game to spare because Juventus beat drew with RB Salzburg even on match day 5. That means we are through to the knockout stages with a game to spare. So whilst the group was blown wide open, Salzburg needed to beat Juventus on match day 5 for us to have any sort of doubt heading to the final game of the group. But instead, because of that draw there, that means that if we avoid defeat on match day 6 away in Turin, we'll guarantee top of the group and finish up as group winners. But really, I'm not too fussed if we drop to second or not. Second will do me fine. Just getting through the group was the most important thing. We've done that with a game to spare, and I'm delighted too. So after that draw after the defeat to RB Salzburg, I was feeling a little bit of pressure. For the final game of today's episode, we see another injury there. Josh De Silva, couldn't find out where it happened in the footage, but De Silva is down with a broken toe for 3 months. We have had quite a few injuries to start this campaign off here. Taking on Brighton here away from home in a repeat of the FA Cup final last season, and 14 minutes in we were 2 goals up. First Weston McKennie bagging a goal, and then Charles Bull. It's been that sort of year for Charles once again so far. Wonderful acrobatic kick to beat Walton at the back stick. It's not a bicycle kick, but it still looked cool. Great technique from Charles. 2-0 QPR. And unlike in the FA Cup final, I didn't feel like we were going to surrender the lead in this one and end up failing to win the game. Now, we were pretty goddamn ruthless in the first half, as if we were trying to make a statement, and it certainly felt like it. 41 minutes in, the ball rolls through Jonathan David. The partnership these two guys have is just as good as the balls of Eddie and Ketia when Eddie was still in our team. 3-0 Queen's Park Rangers, absolutely dominating. I didn't stop there either. 58 minutes in, looking for a 4th goal. Great ball by Charles down the right hand side. Perez with a first time through ball into Charlie Kelman. 1-on-1, and Charlie, 3rd goal in 2 in all competitions. Wonderful little strike there. And again, this guy always will have a place in my team. We could probably buy a better backup striker that's higher rated, but listen, Charlie Kelman is a fan favourite. We love the American to pieces, man. He's always going to be our second choice striker. So 4-0 QPR. Sadly, we would lose the clean sheet. It's always so frustrating when it happens as well. You're coasting to victory, being in total control, and then you can see with normally what is the first shot on your goal as you lose your clean sheet there. So 4-1, Ferreira with a goal, about 15 minutes to go. Brighton grab a consolation, but oh my goodness, just stop it, young man. Messi's Regen continuing to stay on absolute flames. In the dying stage of the match, he wants another goal and he gets it as well. Picks the ball up there after winning a little duel, storms down the right, and honestly, I mean, we know he's got potential to be special. He is proving that he's worth every bit of that reputation. 5-1 the final score. We restored that 4-goal cushion, and Perez, man, I'm loving this Argentine. Up to 75 overall now, and again, he's got a long way to go, but he has had a fantastic start. 5 goals and 4 assists in 9 games, all competitions. You saw the development plan I gave him, the inverted winger. He's now not necessarily completed it, but he has now got the 5-star weak foot. He is looking the real deal, and I gotta say, whilst I do like Majuk, I do struggle with him. I think Perez now is making a claim. He should be our starting right winger in this team. But that was this episode of the PS5 Career Mode, guys. So big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. It is another double upload day today, so there's no like target, but a thumbs up is always very much appreciated. Have a great day, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for next episode very soon, featuring the draw for the Champions League round of 16 as we close out December as well.